Hello and welcome back to another episode of That Podcast. My name is Ryan Janke, and as always, I am joined by Pastor DJ Lura, Dana Mashevsky, and Sarah DeYoung.
Hey, everybody.
Sarah,
I feel like we need to do
we haven't seen you
gangs
for,
back in town or something.
Yeah, we haven't seen you for like 6 months.
I know it's been
ones?
a long time since I've been on some episodes.
Let's see. Let's try this one.
No?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really get to it.
I'm not sure if that's the one either.
Does that sum it up?
Where have you been all this time?
Well, so you know when you have a group chat and then you have like multiple group chats?
Uh-huh.
That I feel like that was the correct situation that we had going on where people were messaging a podcast group chat that I wasn't in and scheduling times.
No.
Dana confirmed it.
That happened
Sarah keeps
once.
blowing us off.
Yeah.
No,
She's
because that
not
was
getting
when we
messages.
discovered that we were, like, it was one that, like, had Paul in it that DJ was using.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was like a year ago. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
I
Went
know
through,
either.
about 6
and
months
that's
ago.
why, that is why I added the photo to our signal, because now I know when I look
hold
at
on.
it that
Did you just throw me under the bus?
Yes, I did.
This is DJ's fault. Like, oh, okay. Well, probably.
That's fine.
I wouldn't put it past me. I've seen me do it before.
I mean, it's been
I
a
mean,
nice
I
little
didn't push the
vacation.
record button, so
I'm sorry. Mea
That's okay.
culpa. I apologize. Thank you.
I could have come up with a good story like, oh yeah, I was on vacation and then
Right?
Yeah.
I was on another vacation and
I was in
But no.
Italy.
None of that.
no.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nice to be back, you know?
Good to have you.
I
was-
like
it
being
was good.
here and not over there.
It was good to get a bit of an update on what's going on in Sarah's world.
Yeah.
I appreciated that earlier.
Things have been busy. So I feel like I haven't been here in so long. Like even like coming to church on Sundays, and I'm like, I miss it. I need to just like get up and stop being lazy and wake up in the morning on
Yeah.
Sundays.
I
instead
work
of,
here and
like-
I can't even do that.
This is why like if there was like an 8 p.m., I'd kill it.
Yeah.
Be there all the time because I'm like, I don't have to wake up early.
Yeah.
I'm already up, but then it would also probably then be like, that's right before my bedtime.
Do you know what would be super fun if you can work it into your schedule? We're going to be doing adult stuff on Wednesday nights.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Now. Yeah.
Gonna start that
Nice.
up again?
Yeah, we're going to start it up again. Alpha. If you haven't done Alpha in the last 2 years, you have not done
sure.
Alpha because they got all new stuff.
Okay.
all right.
Relaunch of Alpha.
Yeah.
That'll
Is
be
this,
cool.
is this something that you wanted to get to anyway as part
Yeah.
of this? Oh, okay.
It's
I forgot that you guys don't work here, and I was like, how do you not know this?
I mean,
It's like, are you not paying attention?
we were working here the last time we did Alpha.
Yeah,
right?
That's
Yep.
true. Well,
We were.
we're due.
And that was like
we're
2
due
years
for another
ago.
one.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
You know what? This is a perfectly good segue to move into the first thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Or for this episode, and it's about our sermon series in the fall. So this is going to get to Alpha. If I don't get back there, remind me so I can close it out. But here's a question for you guys. What is your favorite video game and why?
I don't have one. It's
Ooh.
too hard of a question. I can already tell you that.
You got to narrow it down, Dana.
No, you can't. You can't make me.
Well, let's talk about some of the great video games of all time and what makes them great.
Okay. Pong? Are we starting with
Do you like Pong? That game is hard. Have you ever
Pong
played
is
it?
hard. If you get far enough, it's like Tetris. It gets to a point where it's impossible.
If you don't have like a roller ball that
Yeah.
moves really
then
controlled,
yeah, you're hosed then.
I tried playing Pong and Arkanoid with like an Xbox 360 remote.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
You
That
know,
doesn't work.
That joystick does not have enough.
yeah.
No, it doesn't. The D-pad is horrible on it. So.
Same with Tetris, like the old school Nintendo controller. I was a boss.
Yeah.
But any other kind of controller,
Have you
or
ever
it
tried
could
to
be
do
my
like
old age.
Tetris on your phone?
Yeah, it's impossible.
You like that's the one game I'm like, I need the directions beforehand and it doesn't have it. How am I supposed to rotate this block?
Yes.
And it's like, no, you're good. I'm like, I need to know how to.
What's the
It's not
highest level
working.
you ever got in Tetris?
oh, it is-
4?
I got I got 199.
You know, I bet you I could
I
find
could
out.
never break 200.
My mom was the queen of having like the little battery operated like solitaire and Tetris like handheld games that you got for like $10 at Target.
sure.
Yeah, my grandpa
Like-
had a ton of those.
Yeah, and like my sister and I would go back and forth on Tetris on there, and I could probably find out, but that was my jam.
That was my mom's thing, are like those types of games. And the anxiety gets so bad that I start panicking and I can't do it.
Solitaire, Tetris.
Yep.
Dana's out.
Yep.
What about Pac-Man?
Well, I was going to say Tetris is, I think, if I'm right on this, Tetris is the most used or the most popular game of all time. Like more people have Tetris than any other game.
I would say Tetris teaches you valuable life skills like how to load your dishwasher most effectively, how to pack to move.
Right.
to look
My
at
mom
put
is
it closet away.
the queen of packing like a U-Haul,
Yeah.
and I realize it comes down to like her favorite thing is Tetris.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Just like make it all fit.
That's
So
the way she
compactly.
functions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it goes there, doesn't it?
All right. So what made? Yeah, I hear Ryan saying one thing. The leveling
Yeah.
up was it's an enjoyable experience, and it gets more complex, and so the challenges become more challenging, I guess. And
And then there's like the whole like achievement hunter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if you've been stuck on a level for a while and like you finally get
worst.
past it, you're like, finally.
Yep.
what I always found really satisfying with Tetris is when you'd get 4 in a row. Which never seemed to happen to me, but when it did, it was like, yes.
You get that one
greatest of all
long skinny
time.
piece to fit right in there. And
Yeah,
You're like
it's
that is the
blank
perfect
screen.
piece. Just
Yep.
watch it go right there.
Yep.
So then you said Pac-Man. That launched like video games in the United States, even more so than Pong. Like that, there were songs about it, and lunchboxes, and you name it, they had
And a
Pac-Man
TV
stuff.
show.
Well, and
TV show,
like,
that's right.
I associate Pac-Man more with like the Fuddruckers type restaurants where it's going to be like you're going to go with your family to eat a cheeseburger, get the token, and like sit and
See,
play there for
I have
hours.
the same thing. It's the bowling alley in Mayville. Had
Yeah.
one, the like table one.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you could
And
sit
I
across from
remember-
somebody and play at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tabletop arcade Pac-Man's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the that was probably my first experience with an actual arcade game. Was at the local diner in Cooperstown called Andy's Cafe, and he had an old school Pac-Man machine, and it always threw me because the guy on the side of it didn't look like the little guy that was the little, and it just threw me off. But it's like that game, you could just spend money like crazy playing that game. What are some of the things that you aim to get in Pac-Man that makes the difference, that gets you to the next level? What do you need to get?
I don't.
See,
I
I
was
You
know
never
gotta
the
eat all the
answer,
ghosts.
so-
What's that?
I was never really a Pac-Man person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what game were you into?
Well, there was Tetris and then football.
Football. Yeah, but you
That
like
one doesn't work so well for this.
Actually, it does.
It does?
For a specific game that I know he liked, Tecmo Bowl.
Yep.
Who do you pick for Tecmo Bowl?
Well, it depends. Do you want a stunning defense or a stunning offense? Because if you
Why
want
couldn't you just go with like Super Mario Bros. And make this super easy for what he's trying to get at?
if you wanted the offense, you would go with the Bears because you had Walter Payton.
Yes.
If you wanted the defense, you went with the Giants because then you had LT.
Unless you went with the Raiders and got Bo Jackson.
You could have Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson for me was a solid second on the offense.
Really?
Yeah, well, I hate the Raiders.
I love how this somehow turned into football
Yep.
talk.
and literally, I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, fall's coming up soon. I'm getting excited. Like, there's like, I think 2 weeks, not even, till pumpkin spice is out. But then that comes with football.
Well,
Yeah.
the point that I'm getting at is that there is something you need to get in Pac-Man to level up.
You got to
Okay.
eat all the ghosts.
You got to eat all the ghosts, but what do you got to get
How do
to
you
eat
eat
the
those?
ghosts?
All the dots.
the vitamins.
No, not the little
Oh,
dots.
the fruits.
You get the fruits, but what dot do you need to get to be able to eat the ghosts?
The bigger ones.
Isn't that the vitamins?
They're called the power. They're called power pellets.
Oh, okay.
But it's a term
It's like
that
the-
includes Bo Jackson and Lawrence Taylor in Tecmo Bowl.
Really?
It's a power up.
Huh.
If you do a certain motion with Bo Jackson,
Yeah.
you can make him run faster than anyone on the screen.
Yep. I thought the same thing with Walter Payton.
No, I thought it was Bo Jackson.
Maybe I could be wrong. That's a long
Or you
time
could both
ago.
be right.
Or we could both be right.
Oh.
Ah,
What if it's the same
best
cheat
of
code
both worlds?
and you could use it for
Yeah,
anyone?
what is it? Up, down, left, right, left.
Up, down, left, right, BA, select, start for Contra to give you like unlimited guys or 90 guys or 30 guys, whatever it is. Or
What is it? What is it called? What is that called? There's a word for that sequence.
Cheat code?
is it a cheat code?
Is it a no?
I thought it was called a cheat code.
Yep.
It is a cheat code, but like that specific sequence.
All I can
has
think
a
of is
name.
pneumatic plate.
Well, and you know what?
That's a
These things are burned into my brain. Like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, the code
Yeah.
to get Mike Tyson right away is 777-373-5963. So anyone is wondering, what is that code? You've now heard it on that podcast.
Okay, so this isn't why you called, but I never ever did cheat codes ever.
Really?
Never.
Please, Rosebud with the colon,
No.
semicolon, 50 million
I
times.
never
I made
did
my
it.
mom do it so that I have all the money in The Sims.
Oh, motherload.
And then
Like,
they
I want
added
the
Motherload,
nicest
and it was
house.
better.
I was actually way against that, which may be why I lean towards the sports games.
Yep.
But evidently there's cheat codes for those too. But like I wouldn't even get the big thick game game guide.
You didn't get
Absolutely.
Nintendo Power back in the day?
No.
My son will play a game with YouTube on. So and all my kids do this. They'll play a game, and on the TV, they have YouTube with someone playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a tutorial.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you could buy a video game and
Konami code.
Konami code. Then you go and you buy the tutorial if you hit stuff that you can't get through and you walk through it. And Ryan's a purist who's
I
like,
am. I like
do it yourself.
Like
No,
like
man.
curmudgeon level about it. Like Eli, he can solve a Rubik's cube in seconds.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, there's just a
Tutorial
pattern
to it, yeah.
There's just a pattern to it. I'll show you the pattern. I don't want the pattern.
Ryan would
I
be the
want to figure it out on my
caveman.
own. Bury me with that Rubik's cube if you have to. I'm not learning the code. I'm going to figure it out on my own.
So these are two different things that we're talking about, but it's kind of the same thing. If you don't use a cheat code or if you don't use a tutorial or a Konami
I
code,
used to like
and you
print
just
out websites and then bind them in a
Oh, yeah.
binder for my
Mortal
game so that I
Kombat,
would
you could
keep it.
download all the combinations.
Yeah, no.
That was when the internet was new. But what I'm talking about is what the power pellets are, or in Mario, what is the thing that Mario needs to get that makes him
The one up.
the mushrooms
the mushrooms? And what do they do?
make him
Helps
big.
him grow.
They power him up. So there's this term in video games called power ups that are there's temporary power ups and then there's like permanent power ups. And they help you to level up in the game, and you need these things to be able to get to the next level. Okay. What other video games are your favorite video games?
Well, NCAA is coming back. NCAA football, is it next year? I think
Is
it's
that
coming-
right?
I think so. I think it's coming back next year.
Yes, I always like that better than Madden.
Yes, sir. That's what Eli would say.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Dylan says, "Let's go."
Let's see. PGA golf. I like PGA golf.
You like all the EA
Yeah,
sports?
you were just like the
Yeah.
sports video game.
Did you have a
guy.
Sega as a kid? Because
I did.
That was
Genesis.
EA Sports. Yeah, it's in the game.
I went from. I never had an Atari.
Okay.
I got a Nintendo, and then after the Nintendo was the Sega Genesis, and then after that, for a short time, I had Super Nintendo, and then it was PlayStation after that, and it's been PlayStation.
You're Sony all the way.
Yeah.
There used to be a really good PlayStation game when I was growing up. This is probably the only video game that I religiously played was the Monsters Inc. like Scare Factory. I was
wanted that
otherwise
game
I was
so
like
bad.
a Barbies.com like dress up kid.
Did you have like the Barbie like CD-ROM game?
Oh yeah.
Did you have the genie one with the bottle?
No, I had the horse one. That was my favorite where you got to like
Wait, which horse one?
where you had a horse stable and then you could like groom them and feed them and name them and like
You didn't have the one where it was like
And
a
then you-
mystery? Where it was like,
that was part of it.
okay.
Because then you
like
could
the
also like, but you
random-
had to do certain things before you could go and do the mystery. Like you had
Yeah.
to exercise your horses and
What
all
was
that
it
good
about
stuff.
those games that you really liked?
Man, I loved like Barbies. Like it was a full process of like you have to like build your horse. That sounds gross, but like you got to pick out what your horse looks like,
Yeah.
and then you got to like take care of them, and then you got to do different
Because
things.
didn't it
with
always start with like a little foal and then you had to like, take care of it so that then it was an adult horse?
So based on what you do, you watch it grow
Yeah.
and I guess succeed in whatever tasks the game has you do.
Barbie spy game?
What is that? What feeling did that give you?
them. Oh, it was like accomplishment.
Accomplishment or a sense of satisfaction? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with all that is an enjoyment. Could you play the same game all the time, or is there a point where like I just need to take a break? I'm Barbied out at this point.
I think it depends. It
I was
depends.
Like, for me, it would
yeah.
depend on what game it was.
Like, I think especially once like the Nintendo DS became like a thing, like I took care of my Nintendogs. Like it was
See, you were a good
real,
Nintendo owner. I was a terrible Nintendo owner.
Nintendogs.
and then I like would get other games. Like I was a 40-year-old grandma who got a Wheel of Fortune game, and then I lost my Nintendogs and like came back to them a year later. I'm like, oh, they need a bath.
Wow. So this is what I would do. I would start my dynasty with my team, because it was at 20 years, 30 years, I can't remember. But like I typically start with the Broncos, and then I would go till I won a Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowls, or okay, now I'm bored winning Super Bowls with the
You're
Broncos.
talking Madden football, right?
Yeah. And then what I would do is I would find a slug for a team, and then I would put in a bid to become their head coach, and then I would bring them from the depths of.
This is like me and my Sims families.
yeah.
Then I
Making a
build them up until I won the Super Bowl. with
So
them.
when you applied to be the GM of the Denver
I was like-
Broncos,
that
you'd
was
already
like
done
you.
that like
Yeah, you were like,
100
I got-
times.
Yeah,
Did you
look,
put that in your experience for them?
think how far ahead they'd be at this point.
You should have put that in your experience. Like I've won the franchise.
I've actually
several
taken the
times.
Broncos to the Super Bowl
Several
800 times via.
It's the gamer
That's
tag.
so
You can check
good.
my hours.
Oh, that's so good.
Yep.
All right, Dana, your turn.
I can't pick a favorite game.
Well, pick not your favorite game, but one game, and what was it that you liked about the game?
I was a Sims kid.
Okay, so Sims.
So like
like Sim City or Sims the family, like
Sims
the
the
Sims.
family, like Sims 2, Sims 3, Sims
Oh,
4.
yeah.
And that's where I was like, well, depends on the game, because like that's the game where like I'm playing for 16 hours straight. Like
Oh, totally.
And then I'm like, what just happened?
Reese,
How is it now the next day?
Reese, my daughter was big into The Sims for a while, and she would get these expansion packs that were like
Oh, absolutely.
Hogwarts.
Huh.
I had almost every expansion pack ever made for,
Is that right?
yeah. It's a lot of money I gave to EA.
So with the horse thing and the Nintendogs and the Sims, this might be why I stuck with sports, because like
The responsibility of caring for something else.
no, it wasn't that. It was the sports thing made sense to me, because right now I'm looking to build my team so that I can win games, so that I can go to the playoffs, so that I can win the Super Bowl.
There was like a set end.
I knew where I was going. With the Sims, you don't know where you're
open-ended.
going, right?
Right.
That didn't make sense to me ever.
See,
Well-
you are not creative enough to then be like, guess what? I'm making this
Slam!
family,
Wow.
and I need him to die.
Exactly, that-
so that
and that's
she
the
can be a
point.
gold digger.
And that's what you do. And that's when you take the ladder off the pool.
Yes. Except for now, you can't kill them that way, because now they can get out of the pool
What?
without a ladder.
I wish there was like a wah wah
Yeah,
wah
wow.
in here.
Wow. EA really just
Ouch.
like problem solved an
Yeah.
entire
And it's also
like,
really
century
hard
of
to like
psychopaths.
build, like, you know how you would like build them in a room and start the oven on fire?
Yeah.
That also is not super easy.
Can you take the doors off and lock
I
them in a
got
room
nothing.
forever?
That's like
I mean, they take forever to die.
So,
just that way.
GTA again. I got nothing for that game.
Yeah, right.
I
So
was like, otherwise, I was a Nintendo kid. So
was it the same as like raising the horses in the Barbie game? The Sims game is you are responsible for this avatar, I guess, and you can completely have a complete interaction with their entire life, and
Yeah.
there are
I have a
goals that you
set plan of how their life is supposed to go.
yeah, okay, so you have goals that you're aiming for, and as they achieve them, that's satisfying, right? So the great thing about video game, and I love video games too. I was going to say one game that I can go back, I can play over and over again is Super Mario Brothers, like the original one, not the Wii, not the Wii U, not all this stuff. The original
Mario.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
And I know the entire sequence of it. I know how to get right from the first level to the 8th level and like,
Yep.
really fast. We analyzed that game and played it constantly as kids. And it's just like burned into my brain, but I still find it really enjoyable. The sounds, the experience. Yeah, I mean, just do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yep. Oh man, that Bowser. He was a jerk's jerk.
But all of it, the entire experience I always found really enjoyable, and you would get the power-ups, and you were working toward a victory in some way, shape, or form.
You're gonna spill that.
No, I won't.
Christianity has this as well. Now, we don't talk about this as often in Lutheran circles because we don't talk about works as a way to salvation.
If anybody can actually hear that, that is
I was
Ryan
like, I just
doing
turned
coffee.
him down.
Our sermon series for this upcoming fall is going to be called Level Up. And it's about the experience that you have with video games is very similar to the experience that you can have with your faith. This is what's known traditionally as discipleship, that you don't earn salvation through discipleship. It's everything that you do after you say I believe is discipleship. And if you're someone who's like, well, I believe in Jesus, but I'm just not really how do some people put it? I'm a very spiritual person, I'm just not very religious.
Right. Yep.
That's basically saying like I have ideas about God, but I don't want to exercise any of them or
I believe in God, but I'm too proud to say that I believe in God.
I don't want to commit to anything just in case I'm wrong.
Or I believe in the afterlife. I just don't want to do anything that actually puts my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
That's what discipleship is. It's the exercises, the faith exercises in our life where what you believe becomes your behavior. And if you think about why we do things the way we do in the church, things like small groups is the catalyst where you can engage in these marks of discipleship. So we're going to talk about leveling up our faith. It's not about earning salvation. It's about, now that I believe in Jesus, what do I want to do? How do I live out this Christian life? And when you think of it that way, if you think about the enjoyment that you get from a video game and what you expect from a video game, you can expect the same type of things from your Christian faith. When you engage in these marks of discipleship, your faith becomes more satisfying and it becomes fun. And there's actually goals that you have. And they're not goals for your salvation. They're goals for living the best life that you have. You know, what do people say today? Living your best life?
Yeah, I think so.
That's discipleship. And as you engage in these marks of discipleship, you're actually growing your faith. Like it gets. I don't want to make it sound like you're not a Christian if you don't do these, but it's almost like, why wouldn't you want to? Because you're probably doing them already. You just don't realize the joy that you're getting out of them. It'd be like playing a video game and just hitting buttons and not paying attention to what's actually happening.
Well, have you guys seen the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds in
Yes.
it? It's like that. Like you went from being I'm going to wake up every day and go to my bank job and put the same thing on because that's what was like the plan, to like,
Right.
Oh, wait, I can do better than this. I can do more than this.
You're free.
Yeah.
And what does that freedom look like? So we're going to use an acronym because that's a great way to remember stuff. And the acronym is the thing that helps you level up in video games. It's Power Up. So I want to talk to you guys about what the acronym means. And this is what we're going to be getting into in the fall. So the P in Power Up, 2 words, Power Up, is pray. As Christians, we're to pray daily. And I'm going to share a verse from 1 Thessalonians 5:17. It says, pray without ceasing. In our sermon series, and I hope everyone will come and join us, I'm not bearing the lead here because this is just kind of I'm giving you bullet points of what we're going to be getting into.
I also put a lot of work into marketing.
Yes.
You can look at it.
We have a lot of cool stuff planned. And a lot of this is, it's fun to see, like, Dana mentioned something about Pac-Man, and I started dancing around like a little kid. It was just completely involuntary.
They literally did. It was hilarious. They got so excited, like small children.
Yeah, and that's what Christianity's supposed to be like. You're supposed to be excited because you have the greatest gift in the world. You have the gift that matters more than anything else. So P stands for pray. Pray daily. We're to pray every day. Pray without ceasing, it says in 1 Thessalonians. The O in power stands for offer. This is that I'm to use my time, my talents, and my resources for the gospel because of what the gospel has done for me. So why wouldn't I invest all of the things that I have, all the gifts that I have, to living in the gospel and sharing the gospel? And people get nervous because they're like, are you saying I got to become a pastor? No. You just have to live your best life. Mm-hmm. Live a life that shows that you love Jesus. That means there's going to be things that you're going to walk away from if you're not a Christian that were harmful to your faith. And now you're going to live into things that bless your neighbor, love God and love your neighbor. The verse that we're using is 2 Corinthians 9, verse 15. It says, thanks be to God for his inexpressible gift. Basically, offer is about, it's not what I give to God, it's using what God has given me in a loving way to God and neighbor, that everything I have is a gift from God, so I'm going to use it. The W stands for worship. Christians worship weekly. Psalm 100 is a great psalm about worship, and the first line is, make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. The next one actually is not on most churches' lists of discipleship, but it's a mark of the church that goes back to the beginning, and Martin Luther talks about this one quite a bit. It's the E stands for endure. That it's not that you're saved once upon a time. It's an everyday thing, and there's going to be struggles in this life. That's part of where the adventure comes in. You know, if there's no challenges in the video game, you're probably not going to play it very long. Mm-hmm. Even games like The Sims or Barbie, there's challenges with getting them to where you want them to go. What would you say? Something is a challenge to light your kitchen on fire? In The Sims?
You can't murder them really easily anymore, okay? So if you need someone to die to further your own imaginary story of their life, it's very hard to kill them.
Very difficult. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that, Dana.
I can't just make them drown or die by fire.
Imagine if you're playing a video game and your video game avatar died and like the actual police showed up at your house. There's nothing like that to limit you.
Or too many people.
Or if the game just shuts you out like for 30 days, you're done.
Yep.
There
no
is
more
a
playing.
Game
suspended
kind of like that once you die, you're done.
Okay.
Like you can't go back.
Really?
There's no continue.
Yeah. It's like I don't even know if you can start over. But yeah.
It's like real life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got to go like buy the game all over again.
Yeah. It's once you die, you die.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
Yikes.
Well, what are we to endure? How do we endure? We endure by faith. 2 Corinthians 6:2 says, behold, now is the favorable time. Now is the day of salvation. Endurance is really about never moving beyond the now, not getting lost in the past and not just living for the future. Now is the time. And as you live daily by faith, you discover that you have an endurance you weren't aware of. And the Christian faith really it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. From the moment Jesus tackles you, you spend the rest of your life getting used to the fact that you have a Savior. The R in power stands for read. That means Christians are supposed to read their Bible. If you want to get to know God, get to know His Word. If you want to get to know Jesus, get to know the Word, because you're not going to know Jesus outside of or contrary to God's Word. 2 Timothy 3:16 says, all Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness. So the word power in this acronym means exactly what it sounds like. How do you get power for your daily life? All these 5 faith exercises build you up. That's what they're there for. Even the one about offering, is really a line drawn in the sand in this world about what truly matters to you, what you're going to put first. That's why money is that's why the Bible gives teachings like a tithe, like a 10% tithe or first fruits offering, so that you would be a cheerful giver of what God has given you and not make money or materialism into idols that you worship. Because if you're not investing your money and your gifts into serving God, you're going to invest it into serving something else. That's just how it works. And you might say like, well, no, but I use my money for the things that matter to me, my family, my well-being, nice things. Well, you're serving yourself then. Even serving your family is about serving yourself. So POWER. Now, up is about a direction, right? Where do you put your power? U and P. The U stands for uplift. That we are to encourage faith by how we live our lives in those around us, that they would see the joy that you have and become contagious for it, that they would see how you deal with really hard times. Some of the most popular shows are dystopian because we've forgotten how to deal properly with stressful situations. The Christian can be a witness and a beacon to the world about how to deal with the tough times. And that's what the U stands for, uplift. It encourages faith in other people. Romans 10:13 says, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. That's all of our mandate and mission, to let people know that we call on the name of the one who saves us and that that's available for anybody who wants it. And the P stands for provide, that I'm going to provide for others at and beyond Atonement Lutheran Church. Another way would be service, plugging in, taking care of, loving your neighbor. Galatians 6:2 says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Now, all this is tied into two things. Where do we find power-ups? In video games, where do we find power-ups?
Yeah, and it depends on the video game. Sometimes they're hidden.
But they're in the game, right?
Oh, okay.
You're not going to find them outside the game. You're going to find them in the game.
Sure.
What happens at the beginning of any video game before you start playing? What does it say to you?
The credits.
You get the
The
directions.
beginning.
What does the beginning say?
Press start.
Start.
Don't know pirating.
Or there's
Where are
also
you getting your games?
There's also the seizure warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you can actually start the game, what does it say?
It asks you how many players are playing.
It says, press start,
Or it says press any button.
press any button, or it'll say start game. Okay?
Okay.
So what is our mission in this thing that we call life? Jesus says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. That's why we're here, to make disciples. Now, what happens at the end of the game?
Well, you might also get credits. at the
You might
end.
get credits. Yeah, it'll roll the credits. What happens after the credits are done?
Oh, okay, so this is after the Super Bowl trophy.
Yep.
Then
You said you're going to Disney World, and then what?
Yep.
Confetti's falling.
The confetti.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like a
that's the best
celebration.
part. That's the best part. Yep.
Fireworks.
I don't think I finished a video game in a really long time.
I'm trying to
I also have a bad
trying
habit
to
of not really
think.
finishing anything.
Well, there's a couple things like
turn the
But
game
I
on, the
have
machine
finished a
off.
couple-
let's say you don't meet your goals. The great thing about video games is that often they'll say continue, and that's part of the Christian life is just continuing.
It's kind of like in Mario Brothers. Like you didn't get all the stars, so you can go back to different levels after you
Start
finished
over?
it and
Your
try
princess
again.
is in another castle.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for? Start over?
Well, I mean, there's all of that. There's the continue, but Dana revealed something to us that I didn't know about, but my kids are like, oh yeah, totally.
See?
When you get all of the power-ups at the end of a game, you can start the game again with all the power-ups.
Oh, I didn't know that.
New
New
game
Game
plus.
I did not know that.
Well,
trying
and
to think of what is a really like
They
what's
don't
a
do that
current one
in
that
the
does it.
Madden games.
well, and this is just the thing. As Christians, when we realize and recognize that we have all these gifts and opportunities to level up in our faith, they're there from the get-go. It's not like we have to gather them. Anyone can pray, anyone can give an offering, anyone can worship. All this stuff is there for you right now. So that's what we're getting into in the fall, and it's going to be kind of our launch pad sermon series into the year, especially with FMSC coming up in January.
Is that
So the
starting
fir-
with Rally Day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first game to feature a new Game Plus format was Chrono Trigger in 1995.
I don't even know that game.
It's actually a fun game. Yeah.
Is Rally Day September 10th?
September 10th. And then Wednesday, we'll have our Wednesdays at Atonement starting up, and we're going to have Alpha.
Nice.
So super excited about that. Thus, I've gone full circle. We're life groups, small groups, really is the catalyst where you can power up.
Nice.
And that's where your belief becomes behavior. And that's where you learn how to endure, and you endure with others. You don't endure alone. Alpha is an opportunity for people to basically power up in their faith. Because we're going to be doing Alpha on Wednesdays for adults while we have life groups going on for all the other ages through Kids Club, through Confirmation is our 6th through 8th grade, and our high school group Elevate 9th through 12th grade. Now we're going to have adults showing up on Wednesdays too. So video games are no longer just for kids.
Nice. Another thing that we're announcing right now on Rally Day, September 10th, if you show up with the promo code ThatPodcast, you'll get a free lunch that day.
Is that right?
Ooh. Who do you give the promo code to?
Any one of
You gotta
us
find
would
Ryan?
be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. How do they bring us the promo code?
Yeah.
They got to like write on us.
Just come and,
That podcast?
whatever.
Say, I heard about the free lunch on that podcast
I
episode.
straight for a minute thought you were gonna make me have to go like find some sort of merchandise, and I was
Yeah.
like, Ryan, I do not have time.
There's not enough turnaround time on that.
Well, some of the fun stuff that we're going to do, there's going to be little surprises around here. And if you like video games, or if you have kids that really
Dana's
like video
enjoying
games,
this so much.
we're going to have all kinds of little Easter eggs for you.
Nice.
Come and check it out. You're going to have a really good time on Rally Sunday. And
Will you, is that,
Can I special
Are
request
those-
somewhere the star from the Super Mario Brothers movie
yeah,
make an appearance?
the little guy that's like,
Lily!
Yeah,
the
this
sweet
is the
release of
end.
death.
the sweet release of death. Yes.
Life is sad. Life is. I love that thing so
It's
much.
the best part of that entire movie.
I think
I love
I think you should really double down on this and dress as like Glass Joe or
Nice.
Yep. Or what was the hippo guy from Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to say like wear like a Mario or Luigi
Yeah.
costume.
Oh, that'd be all right. You could find
So
those.
we're gonna
easy.
all cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could find
Hear me
them.
out. Do we have time to like build the little Mario Brothers box and like you, Becky, and Mark can all be in it, and somebody goes up and punches it and like
Hop out.
level like table elevates you up out of it like beep beep beep.
Well, I will say that Dana's done some really cool stuff that we're going to leave as a bit of a teaser, but there
Nice.
are a lot of video game themed surprises.
You could also go downtown and get a picture of you, and maybe
Yes.
you have the Mario wall.
the Mario
We've
mural.
talked about it.
You know,
I'm down there going to do it.
I'm trying to remember which.
I have
what-
a photo of Paul doing it, but none of the rest of you. From when
right.
we went downtown.
Oh, we
yeah.
all did it though.
I
We all
don't.
did it.
I can't find the ones of the rest of you, but I'm like, did I just not take it?
Interesting. Interesting. But where is that compared to? And this is inside baseball talk. So maybe someone in the Fargo Moorhead area knows. You guys know the Bob Dylan mural, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where is the Nintendo mural compared to that?
Oh,
It's a couple blocks east of it, isn't it?
I'd have
Yes.
to go down there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'd have
It's
to wander
it's a
around.
block off of Broadway
Mm-hmm.
in the alley, and it's north of Second. It's like
It's
over by the-
somewhere between
It's by,
the
like-
river and Broadway.
I always thought it was by Cafe Aladdin, or what wall is that?
Somewhere downtown.
Yeah.
If you
That, I
find
think,
the
is the
square
Oh.
between the river and Broadway to First Avenue North up to say Fourth Avenue
I want to
North.
say it's over by the Toasted Frog.
Is it? It's
Well,
a couple streets down. I know it's not on Broadway. It's a
the
couple-
Toasted Frog would be this 200 block, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like behind Toasted Frog.
So between 5th and Broadway.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely in between there. I just don't remember then how far north you're going from Maine, where it is.
So you're gonna start walking downtown, and then you're gonna see this giant wall that's
Yeah.
brick and it's painted. It's like blue at the
Blue.
top, green at the bottom. There's like a little square in the middle. I actually think you can look up the exact location on like
I think-
You know,
yeah.
downtown Fargo or something.
that would
like
be
or,
a
like,
that would be a
normal.
fun thing to have people send in their pictures of all the murals that they've visited.
Yeah,
Downtown.
Ooh.
that'd be a cool one.
So if you'd like that free meal, go and
Yep.
get a picture in front of the mural and bring that in with your promo code.
Yeah,
And
promo
that
code that
podcast.
podcast.
And the best pose will also get a free dessert. Some type of homemade bar.
Right. So
All right,
sweet.
so it is. I'm gonna tell you right where it is.
Free admission to every service.
Yep.
Whoa.
And
That's a gift that just keeps on giving.
I was
what
right.
cheat
It's
code
in
do
the
you need for
alley
that?
behind Toasted Frog.
Okay, so yeah,
It is
good.
directly behind the Toasted Frog.
Okay, there you are.
So it's a couple blocks down from the Bob Dylan mural, which is down further.
Yeah, further north.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. My niece, we had family here, and my niece pointed it out, and I can't remember who she said, but it wasn't, she had no idea who Bob Dylan was. And I want to say she thought it was like Adam Sandler or Harry Styles or something like that. She's like, why is there this Harry Styles,
Yeah.
I really
I
like
said, that's
the
Bob
idea.
Dylan. She goes, who? I'm like, oh boy. All right.
I really like the idea of a giant Adam Sandler mural.
Just in the middle of
Just
Fargo for no
randomly,
apparent reason.
yeah. Huh.
And
He's from Hibbing, right? Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minnesota guy.
Yeah. Minnesota raised.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what's coming, guys. Cool. It's going to be a
That's
fun,
going to be a good sermon series.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
So
fun
it's
fall.
it is let me see if I can remember this. Pray, offer,
W.
yeah, I know it. W was
We do it every Sunday.
Okay, worship, endure, and then R was read,
Yep.
uplift, and provide.
Perfect.
Look at that.
Look at that. You just
the
leveled
hardest
up.
letter for you was like probably the easiest.
Yep, probably that tracks.
So Dana and I were talking about this too because she's been making these just really great graphics, and she had one of them that said, level 100, and we'll go up from 1 to 100. And I was like, yeah, but is there a max out level for Christians? So what would be higher than 100? Like what would be the max level for a Christian?
Infinity,
Yeah.
The infinity, and what
yeah.
does the infinity symbol look like?
a sideways 8.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I actually had to hand draw that infinity.
Did you really?
Yeah. The 8s do not look like that sideways.
So did you put your name in there somewhere, like art by,
No.
like just put your name down to make it like
You know what it would be? is
trademark, copyright? Dana
Two
Wachowski.
two Jesus fishes backed up against one another.
That's
Hey.
too many loops.
Yeah, that'd be 3.
Well, not if they overlapped.
Oh.
If you
know what I'm
overlapped
If you
them,
cut
then
their
yes.
tails off and put them
Yeah.
like
if you-
body to body.
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
I think Ryan just created a symbol for eternal life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I did that.
Trademark, copyright, Ryan Jenke.
Perfect. That sounds good. Starts rally day September 10th.
Yep.
And yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Don't forget that.
It's gonna rock. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Online
Cheat
in
code.
person.
What's that?
Online and in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of options.
Good times. Well, you can't get the free meal if you don't show up with your promo code.
Ooh, here's a neat idea. If people join us on the platform, can we have like a little 8-bit one scene of like Galaga that they can click on and play Galaga during the message? Is that possible? Is that a thing? Dana's
We
looking
can
at me
talk
like, you're
logistics
so
later."
crazy.
At first, when you were saying that, I was thinking like, are you going to be like, you put the code in and you just get like a cartoon of like a hamburger, like,
Wouldn't that be cool? No, what I was thinking of is like, okay, so in the Avengers movie.
I was going to say, do you want just a moment so you can go, that person's playing Galaga?
Yes. Well, if someone's joining us online during worship, they can hear the message and then all of a sudden just click on and play Galaga while the message is going on. How neat would that be? Just a
That'd
little
be very cool.
little side thing. I just created that.
Yeah. Then they'll be like, what?
No idea.
What did Pastor DJ just say?
Right.
I don't know, but I'm
Go
on
back
level
and watch
100.
Yeah, I gotta kill the boss. Like, give me a minute. I know you're saying important things, but
Hey, we give fun bags for children in the space online. We can give a little like little Galaga video game or something. True. Anyway, all right.
Sounds good.
I'll work on that coding.
Thank you.
All right.
With all your free time.
Yeah, all the free time in the world.
Cool.
So that sounds good.
Yeah. It's going to be cool.
So should we, let me pray
Okay.
and then we'll call it.
All right.
Then we'll power up out of here.
That's right. Dear God, thank you for getting the gang back together and the fun conversations that we have. And Lord, just very excited about what you are doing in our midst and want that to become contagious for everyone to see and experience and to realize that being a Christian does not mean missing out on the fun things in life, that it actually makes them better. So may the good news of Jesus Christ change people's lives, fill them with joy, hope, and peace, the things that you give. In his name, amen.
Amen. All right. And if you want to join us, you know where the places to go to. 9 o'clock, 10:30 every Sunday, online or in person, 4601 South University Drive, atonementfargo.org or atonement.live. For Pastor DJ Lura, Dana Mashevsky, and Sarah DeYoung, I'm Ryan Janke. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another riveting episode of That Podcast.